Thanks to our sponsor Dundeal.ie, we bring you Business Bites, the best bits of that great business show served up in individual servings.
Dundeal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Dundeal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit Dundeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
From episode 128, Jason Bradshaw, corporate finance partner at JPA Brenson Lawlor, talked to us about the value of logistic companies on the second of his explainers about creating value in business. And we are continuing our mini-series about creating value in your business, and JPA Brenson Lawlor, corporate finance partner and deal maker of the year, Jason Bradshaw, is back in studio to talk to me valuing logistics businesses specifically. However, one of the points Jason brought to my attention was the benefit of creating a brand, no matter what your sector or even how small or niche your business. Jason Bradshaw, welcome back to that great business show.
Hi, Conal. You give a great introduction.
Well, I should start by sending people back to episode 124, where you chatted to people about the nuts and bolts, the bread and butter of valuing a business and, turning off the lights, the basic stuff. So go back to episode 124 if you want that, because we're building on it from there. This is like going to school, isn't it? You're meant to have done your homework.
Building blocks, yeah.
You're going to talk to me about logistics businesses, because that is an area of specific interest of yours.
Yes, so haulage and logistics, it's a huge, I suppose it's a huge sector because we're an island to start with, so we're so dependent on the sector, and I think that came to the fore probably through COVID. Deliveries and Brexit is, and it's still not resolved, so hopefully that might get better. If Larne can open up to the regular flow as normal.
We'll see what happens there, but that's another scale, as they say. We'll see about what happens there.
It's a great sector, and even last week there was an additional support package announced for the sector, an extra 18 million.
A business or a sector that relies on supports, is that really a business or is that a charity?
It's a temporary support, as they say. I know it's just for the cost of diesel, and so it's really just to help them, because I think the average size of the fleet in the country is about 5. So 5 trucks, 5 HGVs. So there's a huge amount there's about 4,000 owners in the country, business owners. Yeah, and about 60% of those can export internationally with their trucks.
If you had told me 400, I might have believed you. That's huge.
Yeah, about 20,000 HGVs on the road.
And they are expensive vehicles. How much do they cost?
They are very expensive. You're starting at about 100 grand, anywhere up to 250, 300. So huge amount of extras. If you place an order today, you probably wouldn't get it until next year. So that's
a truck.
So that's the backlog in terms of orders.
Every day's a school day. I love this kind of stuff. So how do you make it valuable or more valuable? How many people are running these businesses? 4,000. Is that what you said?
Well, there's about 4,000 businesses, yeah.
Yeah. So how do they make themselves more valuable?
Again, it's about maximising their margin. Look at their routes. So staffing is a huge issue in terms of the drivers, and it's a worldwide issue. The average age in Ireland of a HGV driver is about 48, 49, 1% female.
Really?
So, yeah, and I suppose the government's been trying to get more drivers into the country. I think Kerry College have started a new driver programme, school leaver route to Kerry College to get more drivers on the roads. But it's a huge problem. So it is leading to kind of shortages.
I presume they're very well paid. I won't even go down that route, because let's make this business more valuable for those 4,000 businesses.
So it's really, I suppose, since the increase in the diesel costs, a lot of the operators are charging an excess kind of surcharge to all their customers. Okay, so I would say the majority are charging those surcharges. There's probably some of them that aren't. So if you're not charging the surcharge, you need to be charging that. So margins have actually increased through Brexit and through COVID because of these surcharges. Now, it's probably only temporary. They'll probably be taken away in a couple of years. But the surcharges have made a huge difference to actually stabilising and increasing the margins in terms of the business. And the average margin would be, 8, 10 to 15%.
That's all right, is it?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's very hands-on. It's very, obviously, the working hours. So a lot of the owners would be very hands-on.
Do you know whether most owners are driving, or do they just have staff? In other words, that they run the business and they have 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 lorries out there?
Yeah, well, a lot of the smaller owners would actually end up driving now at the minute because there's such a shortage of drivers. So they're having to stand in if anyone's sick.
I'm looking at your eyes. I think you fancied going around with your Yorkie bar. And
well, yeah. We've all seen Smokey and the Bandit. So Burt Reynolds, yeah. So it's great. It's a great movie. So it's worth watching back on Netflix actually. But that's the drivers absolutely love it. It's a hard profession. They're on the road a lot. I think they can drive 9 hours a day with a couple of breaks in between. So it's heavy going.
Is it consolidating? How does somebody, as a kid, coming back to this thing about making it more valuable and get some deals going? Is that what you really want?
Yeah, there's a huge amount of deals in the sector. Again, globalization. Every sector is consolidating. So the transport and logistics sector is no different. So again, UK consolidators are kind of buying a lot of the larger groups. So there's kind of good multiples in the sector, probably around 6, maybe 7 times for the high end operators.
7 times after tax profits, is that it?
Yeah. Adjusted profit. I know you don't like me using the word EBITDA, Connell, so adjusted profit, let's call it adjusted profit. So 6 to 7 times adjusted profit in terms of a value for the business. And again, that's at the higher end in terms of the trucks. So really, it's the scarcity of the trucks now is the key issue. So it's
scarce
capacity
trucks
in the
means
system.
that the price has gone up of the asset sitting in your driveway or wherever it is in your truck park. Is it the way that second-hand cars have gone up in price? Yeah, I wonder.
You can't get trucks. There's at least a 9-month waiting list, so you can't get a driver. So
is it a good time to sell?
It's a very good time to sell.
Says Jason, who would gladly look after your business.
Because really they want your drivers as well. They want the drivers with the new fleet that they can bring in and then merge with their own fleet, so they can offer, I suppose, increased capacity to their customers. Because, if you're getting into the high-end kind of operators, they have a good head office set up, so you're just basically plugging in under 5 or 6 trucks to the head office fleet with a very little extra overhead cost in terms of the head office. So it can really add to the bottom line.
So one of the things that you did tell me was that any business should, if they can, kind of get a brand name. Now, first of all, I'm still kind of going, what? That many operators? How can you actually get your name out there? You're not going to start advertising because it's not that kind of a business. How do you say Bradshaw, pulls better trucks or whatever?
Well, you see, if you're in the sector, you will know all the operators, and some operators will have good reputations, not so good reputations, and so it's just about your customer service delivery. It's about the way you treat your staff, the retention of your staff, because the drivers obviously speak to each other. So if you're a business owner in that sector, you want to make sure that you're retaining all your drivers and attracting new ones. So if you don't have a good reputation, the business isn't going to go too far or continue down the road.
What about the fellas in Ireland who want to buy businesses here or wherever? But I mean, in other words, not to have the UK consolidators coming in here.
Yeah, there's still a huge, like 3,800 licensed hauliers in the country. So it's a huge sector. The average age, they're probably over half would be coming to retirement age within the next 10 years in terms of the owners. So it's like a lot of sectors, huge amount of consolidation needed. So that 3,800 it's probably too many for Ireland, so it needs to probably come down to probably half that. Okay. Because if you only have 3 or 4 trucks on the road, it's very hard to get to that magic number in terms of your profits. So you need to get to a sustainable profit figure to kind of grow
And will somebody bank that? In other words, can you find funding if you want to decide that you want to consolidate and start buying all these smaller operators?
They sure will. Yeah, both of the main banks have sector specialists for the transport and logistics sector. So yeah, and they're very much lending to the sector. So probably 3.5 to 4 times leverage is what you get in terms of valuation. So they like the sector. Obviously, there are issues coming down the tracks, decarbonisation, but that's all a few years away. EU keeps bringing out new regulations for the new trucks. So the average age of the Irish fleet's over 10 years. So
that's
obviously
old.
That's old. That's very old.
But you can't replace them because there aren't any trucks.
Yeah, so you have to really have a good business plan in place for the next year, 2 years, 5 years to replace that fleet, because the regs from Europe are going to keep increasing to get the emissions down. So that's kind of your medium term view. Otherwise, you're going to get penalised based on your emissions. Because obviously diesel is such a huge part of your cost base.
And it's not a business that will or can go away, because we need to ship goods goods in this case, which means...
Exactly. We don't have a good rail network. We don't. So that we were so heavily reliant on the HGVs around the country. So that's why we need a good road network, which we have now in most parts.
So if somebody wants to start consolidating, the name is Bradshaw, Jason Bradshaw. You'll do the business for them.
That's it. Create value.
And you'll give them 6 times their adjusted earnings.
If they're a good business.
If they're a good business.
But it's all about planning. You need to be planning the sale of your business now for even the next 2 or 3 years or 5 years' time. So you need to put in place those corporate restructurings, that succession planning, all those good things in terms of when you actually want to sell your business, you're in a position to be able to sell it and get the best price possible.
All the things you spoke of on number 124. Worth going back and listening to Jason on that one. Jason Bradshaw, partner at JPA Brenson Lawlor. Thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Thanks, Conal.
Want to increase sales, reduce overheads and provide customers with a better service? Then use Big Red Web, the easiest way to develop and maintain your website. It gives you powerful business reporting, digital marketing and automatically integrates with the award-winning Big Red cloud accounting software. It's a game changer for SME businesses. It's so good, the government gives you a €2,500 grant towards it. Big Red Web, e-commerce made simple. BigRedCloud.com/web.
De facto shaving oil, made only from natural oils. Nothing nasty on your skin.
This interview was first posted on episode 128 of That Great Business Show. Share with anyone in the logistics business. For more great business insights, listen back to the entire back catalogue of That Great Business